Volkswagen once built a feature so far ahead of its time that VW itself pulled the plug on it, not because it failed, not because customers hated it, but because the engineers who approved it got overruled by the accountants who didn't understand it. And that's not a one-time story. That's happened at least 10 times in VW's history. Features that could have changed how we drive, buried, forgotten, and erased from every brochure. If you've ever wondered why some Volkswagens feel like they're missing something, some convenience, some clever bit of engineering you've seen on other cars, but never on a VW, it's not because they couldn't build it, it's because they did and then walked away from it. Today, we're digging them back up. These are 10 rejected Volkswagen features that were actually genius. Ideas scrapped over cost-cutting, boardroom decisions, or just bad timing. Some of these almost made it to production. One was already sitting in dealership showrooms before it got pulled. Let's start. Rejected feature number 10. The car that parked itself in 1989. Let's start with something that sounds impossible. Self-parking. Volkswagen didn't figure that out in 2010. They figured it out in 1989. It was called the Futura, a concept car VW rolled out at the Frankfurt Motor Show with gull-wing doors and something no one had ever seen before. Press a button, step back, and the car would steer itself into a parking space. All four wheels could turn, so it didn't just parallel park, it could slide sideways into a gap barely longer than the car itself. Journalists at the show couldn't believe what they were watching. Remember, this was a time when most cars didn't even have power windows as standard. The system worked. VW's engineers had proven it on the street, not just on paper. Sensors measured the space, a computer calculated the path, and the car did the rest. The technology was ready to change parking forever. So what happened? The math. The computers powerful enough to run the system were expensive, bulky, and the sensors alone would have added thousands to the price of a family car. VW looked at the numbers and quietly shelved it. The Futura went into a museum, and the idea went into a drawer. Here's the part that stings. When Volkswagen finally launched Park Assist in 2007, nearly 2 decades later, it was celebrated as cutting-edge innovation. But the engineers who built the Futura knew the truth. VW hadn't invented self-parking in 2007. They'd rediscovered something they already had. 18 years too early. Rejected feature number 9, the engine that turned itself off. In 1993, every modern car has it now. You stop at a red light, the engine shuts off, and the moment you touch the pedal, it fires back up. Start-stop technology, standard equipment on almost everything sold today. Volkswagen put it in a Golf in 1993. It was called the Golf Ecomatic, and it went even further than the systems we have now. The engine didn't just shut off at red lights. It shut off every time you lifted off the accelerator. Coasting down a hill, engine off. Rolling toward a stop sign, engine off. The car would glide in silence, sipping zero fuel, and the diesel engine would restart instantly the moment you needed power again. VW claimed fuel savings of up to 20% in city driving. In the early 90s, that was unheard of. And this wasn't a concept car behind velvet ropes. The Ecomatic was a real production Golf you could walk into a dealership and buy. But here's the problem. Drivers weren't ready for it. In 1993, a car that shut its own engine off felt broken, not brilliant. Customers found the constant stopping and starting unnerving. There was no tachometer needle to reassure them, just silence. Sales were dismal. Within about 2 years, VW pulled it from the lineup, and the idea disappeared. Fast forward 15 years, fuel prices climbed, emissions rules tightened, and suddenly, every manufacturer on Earth was racing to install start-stop systems. The same basic idea VW customers had rejected in 1993. Today, the Ecomatic is barely a footnote, but every time your engine goes quiet at a red light, you're using an idea Volkswagen proved a generation too early. Rejected feature number 8, cameras instead of mirrors. Take a look at any car on the road today, and you'll see the same two things sticking out of its sides. Mirrors. They've been there for 100 years. They create wind noise, they get knocked off in parking lots, and at highway speed, they're two little parachutes dragging down your fuel economy. Volkswagen decided to get rid of them. When VW built the XL1, the streamlined, ultra-efficient machine, designed to sip barely any fuel, the engineers went to war against every source of drag on the body, and the biggest offenders were the side mirrors. So they deleted them entirely. In their place, Tiny cameras, smaller than your thumb, feeding live video to screens inside the doors. Less drag, a wider field of view, no blind spots from the mirror housing itself, and perfect visibility even in rain, because the camera lens stayed protected while a mirror would be covered in water droplets. It worked beautifully. Drivers who tested it said that within minutes, glancing at the door screens felt completely natural. So why doesn't your Golf have camera mirrors today? One word: regulations. In market after market, especially the United States, the law said a car must have physical glass mirrors. Didn't matter if the camera was better, didn't matter if it was safer. The rulebook was written decades before the technology existed, and the rulebook won. VW built only a couple hundred XL1s, and the camera mirror system never spread to the cars ordinary people actually buy. The frustrating part? Other brands in other countries have since started shipping camera mirrors, and reviewers praise them like a brand new invention. Volkswagen had it figured out years earlier. The technology wasn't the problem, the paperwork was. Rejected feature number 7, the mid-engine Golf that never was. Before the Golf became the Golf, before it became one of the best-selling cars in history, Volkswagen almost built it completely differently, and the version they rejected might have been the most brilliant small car of the century. It was called the EA266. A secret project developed in the late 60s with help from Porsche engineers, and it had a layout no mainstream family car had ever tried. The engine wasn't in the front, it wasn't in the back like the Beetle. It was lying flat underneath the rear seat. Think about what that gave you. Near perfect weight balance, like a sports car, a full trunk in the back, and storage up front. Compact size on the outside, huge space on the inside. Porsche's test drivers reportedly loved how it handled, because it basically was a family-sized car with mid-engine balance. Hundreds of prototypes were built. The project was years deep. This wasn't a sketch on a napkin. VW was seriously preparing it as the Beetle's successor. Then, new leadership walked in the door, looked at the project, and asked the questions accountants always ask. How much will it cost to build? How hard will it be to service? Changing spark plugs meant getting under the rear seat. Every mechanic in every town would need retraining. The answer came down fast and cold: cancel it. Prototypes were ordered destroyed. VW pivoted to a simpler front engine design instead, and that car became the Golf we know. Now, to be fair, the Golf turned out fine. More than fine. But car engineers still talk about the EA266 as one of the great what-ifs. A family hatchback that handled like a Porsche decades before anyone else dared to try. Volkswagen had it running, testing, nearly ready, and chose the safe road instead. Rejected feature number 6, the Microbus comeback that got canceled. In 2001, Volkswagen showed the world exactly what it wanted to see. At the Detroit Auto Show, VW unveiled the Microbus concept, a modern revival of the legendary bus. The friendly face, the two-tone body, the boxy silhouette, unmistakable. But underneath, it was thoroughly modern, spacious, safe, and packed with clever touches like a rear camera, back when backup cameras were still exotic. The reaction was instant. Crowds swarmed it. The press called it a home run, and VW listened. The Microbus was officially approved for production. A plant was chosen. A launch year was set. This was happening. And then, it wasn't. In 2004, with development well underway, VW pulled the plug. The projected costs kept climbing, the business case looked shaky on paper, and the budget went to safer bets instead. The most anticipated Volkswagen in a generation quietly vanished from the roadmap. Here's what makes this one hurt. The retro wave exploded right after, and nostalgic revivals became gold mines for other brands. Meanwhile, the company with the most beloved van in automotive history sat on it for 20 more years, until the ID buzz finally brought the bus back. The 2001 Microbus wasn't rejected because people didn't want it. It was rejected despite the fact that they did. Sometimes the spreadsheet wins, even when every customer on Earth is voting the other way. Rejected feature number 5, the crossover VW built 30 years too early. What's the best-selling type of vehicle on Earth right now? The crossover, a normal car, lifted higher, with all-wheel drive, drive, and a bit of rugged attitude. Every brand builds them. Every brand profits from them. Volkswagen built one in 1990 and then gave up on it. It was called the Golf Country, and the recipe sounds like it was written yesterday. Take a regular Golf, raise the suspension, add all-wheel drive, underbody protection, and a spare wheel on the back. A comfortable everyday hatchback that could handle mud, snow, and mountain trails. Exactly the formula that would later conquer the world. The problem? Nobody in 1990 knew they wanted one. The world was divided into normal cars and hardcore off-roaders. A lifted hatchback confused everyone. Too rugged for city buyers. Not rugged enough for the Land Rover crowd. Sales crawled, and after roughly 2 years, VW quietly ended it. Now, look around. The formula the market rejected became the most profitable idea in the modern car industry. Volkswagen eventually rejoined the party with the Tiguan and T-Roc, and today, they sell millions. Volkswagen didn't miss the crossover trend. They started it and walked away before the world caught up. Rejected feature number 4, the Volkswagen supercar that broke world records. Here's a sentence that sounds fake. Volkswagen once built a supercar so fast, it set a world record and then refused to sell it. It was called the W12, a low, wide carbon fiber machine styled by the same design house behind legendary Italian exotics. In the middle sat a brand new 12-cylinder engine, an experimental design VW had never put in anything before. This wasn't a styling exercise. It ran, it screamed, and in 2002, VW took it to the Nardo test track in Italy and drove it flat out for 24 hours straight, averaging around 200 miles per hour, an endurance world record that stunned the industry. The message was clear. Volkswagen, the people's car company, could build a machine that embarrassed Ferrari. Fans begged for a production version. The record proved the car was durable, not just fast, and the bad shock alone would have made headlines for years. A VW sitting at the top of the supercar food chain. But it never happened. The board decided a 6-figure supercar didn't fit the Volkswagen brand. That's what their other luxury marks were for. The W12 project was shelved, and the engine's ideas were channeled into other flagship models instead. The record car went into a museum, and the world moved on. But here's the twist. Everything VW learned chasing that record fed directly into engineering that came after it. The supercar itself was rejected, but its DNA never left the company. Rejected feature number 3. The hybrid Volkswagen built before Toyota. Ask anyone who invented the hybrid car, and you'll get one answer. Toyota, the Prius. 1997, it made Toyota billions and reshaped the entire industry. Except Volkswagen got there 20 years earlier. In the late 1970s, VW engineers built a hybrid Volkswagen Taxi, a real working vehicle that combined a gasoline engine with an electric motor, switching between them to slash fuel use in city traffic. It was tested on actual streets, carrying actual passengers. The technology worked, the fuel savings were real, and this was during an era of oil crises, when the whole world was desperate for exactly this kind of car. Then in 1991, VW did it again. A small city car concept designed around a hybrid drivetrain, efficient, clever, and years ahead of anything on sale. Twice, Volkswagen held the future of fuel economy in its hands, and twice the answer from above was the same. Too expensive, too complicated, not enough demand. The batteries cost too much. The market wasn't ready. The projects were filed away, and VW went back to building what it already knew. 6 years later, Toyota launched the Prius. The market, it turned out, was very ready. Hybrids became one of the biggest gold rushes in automotive history, and VW spent the next 2 decades playing catch-up in a race it could have started. This is the one VW engineers still call the one that got away, not because the idea failed, but because someone else got rich proving it worked. Rejected feature number 2, radar cruise control. In the 1980s, adaptive cruise control, the system that automatically keeps distance from the car ahead, feels like modern technology. Most drivers only got it in the last 10 years. Volkswagen had it working in the 1980s. VW's research division built a series of experimental cars based on ordinary models, packed with technology from the future. Digital displays, early anti-lock systems, aerodynamic tweaks, and the crown jewel, a radar unit mounted in the nose that measured the gap to the car in front and warned the driver, laying the groundwork for cruise control that could think for itself. On the Autobahn, That wasn't a gimmick. It was a lifesaver waiting to happen. But the radar hardware of that era was bulky, expensive, and years away from mass production prices. The research cars did their job, the data was filed away, and the feature never reached the showroom. Ordinary VW buyers wouldn't see adaptive cruise control for decades. Meanwhile, other manufacturers launched it first in the late 90s and wore the innovator crown. VW had the concept running on test cars, while some of those engineers were still in school. The lesson by now is familiar. Being first means nothing if you don't ship it. Rejected feature number 1, the car that could cross a country on one tank. For the number 1 spot, the most extreme machine Volkswagen ever put on the road. Because those camera mirrors from earlier, they were just one small piece of it. The XL1, a car with one mission: burn almost no fuel at all. The challenge came from the very top of Volkswagen. Build a car that could travel 100 kilometers on a single liter of diesel. Engineers said it was nearly impossible, so VW did it anyway. The result looked like it landed from another decade: a teardrop carbon fiber body, a tiny diesel hybrid drivetrain, covered rear wheels, and fuel economy in the range of 260 miles per gallon. Numbers that still sound like a typo today. And it wasn't a lab experiment, it was road legal, driven on public streets. Then Volkswagen made around 250 of them and stopped. Carbon fiber was too expensive to mass produce, fuel prices calmed down, and buyers wanted SUVs. So the most fuel-efficient production car ever made became a collector's item instead of a revolution. The knowledge to build it, still sitting in Wolfsburg right now. 10 features. 10 times Volkswagen saw the future first and let someone else claim it. Which one would you bring back? Drop it in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, subscribe to Volkswagen Hub. See you in another video.